I've been learning Japanese for years now, and of course, I've made some mistakes along the way. There are a couple of things I wish I'd known when I started my Japanese learning journey. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'd like to share with you guys some things that I wish I'd known when I started my Japanese learning journey. When you start learning Japanese, you might have found some videos on YouTube saying how to be fluent in Japanese in only 6 months. While these videos sound motivating, I found it unrealistic. The time it takes for everyone to be able to speak a new language is different. That's why I think it's important to define a clear and realistic goal before starting your Japanese learning journey. Try to think of something clear, something like I want to learn Japanese to pass the JLPT-N4 test, or something like I want to learn Japanese to be able to watch anime without subtitles. These two goals, they are really different, so they have different ways to achieve. For example, if your goal is to pass the JLPT-N4 test, then you might want to spend your time focusing on materials that are relevant for the test. It's also important to divide those big goals into smaller, achievable milestones. Keeping track of these milestones can motivate you throughout your language learning journey. One of the mistakes that I did when I started learning Japanese was that I spent so much time researching the best way to learn Japanese, when in reality, I don't think there is one single best way that works for everyone. So the solution to this would be just, start learning Japanese, and then you can try different methods while doing it. Another common mistake that people do when they start learning Japanese is that they learn using romaji. I think it's better if you learn using hiragana from the beginning. So in Japanese, there are 3 kinds of characters that they use in their writing system. The first one is hiragana, the second one is kanji, and the third one is katakana. Katakana is often used for foreign words or loan words such as internet. In Japanese, we call it internetto. We write that in katakana. So when you start learning Japanese, I think it's important to spend some time to learn hiragana. And then from there, after you're able to read in hiragana, you can start, reading or learning from textbook. Another mistake that I made was that I learned dozens of grammar points without understanding the nuances and the context of those grammar points. I understand that in many textbooks, especially those for the JLPT test, they usually put so many grammar points in one chapter. Because of that, it would be tempting to just memorize the structure and memorize how to change the verb without actually understanding how to use it or when to use it. As you learn more grammar points, you'll notice that some pattern can look very similar to another. For example, in the JLPT N2 level, you'll find a grammar point called bakari ni, and then there's another one called bakari ka. So these 2 patterns, they have the word bakari in it, but their meanings are different. Nani nani bakari ni means simply because something. Nani nani bakari ka means not just A, but B. So my point here is, instead of just memorizing the patterns or the structure of the grammar point, try to, spend some time to understand the nuances and how to use it. One of the best way to do it is to have a notebook where you can write at least one example sentence for each grammar point. And this example sentence has to be made by you after you really understand the context, the nuance, and when to use this specific grammar point. So understanding the nuances, the context, and when to use a specific grammar point and make one example sentence, at least one example sentence for that point will help you understand and, remember more grammar points. Kanji is one of those things that can take forever to learn. It can affect other parts of your language learning journey as well. More than any other part of Japanese learning, kanji can either help or hurt you, and I'd rather it help you. The more kanji you learn, the more effectively you can study Japanese. When learning kanji and vocabulary, I often struggle with remembering words that I just learned a few days before, and I'm pretty sure many of you have experienced this as well. You might have heard about the forgetting curve, which represents the way information is forgotten over time. The curve starts with near perfect recall in the beginning, but as soon as a person continues to forget the material, the curve flattens until the bottom line. This is where the person can't remember anything at all about what they studied. And I guess this is where I often forget the material, the kanji or vocabulary that I just studied, even like a few days beforehand. To solve this, I recently learned a technique called the spaced repetition technique. The basic idea is to space out revision sessions so you will not try to cram all information at once. The spaced repetition technique uses the forgetting curve to its advantage by recalling information or doing review sessions at strategic times. The next question would be, when or how do we know this best time to review? I recently found an app that can help us automate this method. Let me introduce you to this amazing app, which is also the sponsor of this video, MochiKanji. MochiKanji can help you memorize 1,000 kanji and vocabulary in a month through its golden time that applies the spaced repetition technique. It'll help you find the best time to review kanji and vocabulary. The MochiKanji app divides kanji and vocabulary into different courses and different themes. It offers courses that are industry specific and also JLPT level specific. Based on your learning history, MochiKanji will send you a notification to revise specific vocabulary and kanji at the golden time, the time your brain can memorize the best. This app also keeps track of the vocabulary you have learned and categorizes them into 5 levels of memorization. 1 being vocabulary you just learned, and 5 being vocabulary that you're already familiar with. Last but not least, this app has a flashcard feature with not only text but also images and audio, which makes learning vocabulary easier and more fun.
Ashi. Ashi.
You can download the app in App Store and Google Play by searching MochiKanji Learn Japanese. For more information, I will provide the links in the description box. Please try it out and let me know what you think. Last thing I want to talk about today is listening and speaking. When I first started learning Japanese, I focused too much on learning grammar and reading part from textbooks. I've kind of forgot that I also needed to improve my listening and speaking skill. I noticed an improvement in my speaking skill after spending more time listening to Japanese podcasts and watching Japanese TV series. From this media, I also learned phrases and words that are more natural and are actually used in daily life. These words are not often included in traditional Japanese textbooks. Additionally, I also practice a lot of shadowing. Shadowing is a technique where you repeat an audio right after you hear it. I feel like it has helped me a lot in improving my pronunciation and accent. Finally, I'd like to remind you guys that learning a new language is a long journey. It's okay if you make mistakes, and it's also completely fine if you want to take a small break in between. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you guys like it, and I hope this video is useful for your Japanese learning language journey. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!